Right, so Mercedes here for the hood cleaner refurb. What a lovely looking car this one is. Wowee. So if I look at the roof, I can see there's a lot of zigzags on it, so somebody's had a go at cleaning, but not seeing anything that's too much of a concern for me. I'm expecting these lines to come out, but you never know till you do the job. A little bit deeper there, but I still think it will clean up. These lines often come because that is effectively, with the jet washer, whoever's done this, has removed some of the dirt, but sometimes if they go a bit too close, they can damage the fabric. We've got a line round there that could actually be a line in the fabric. But you know, we'll clean it all up. You've got fold lines, natural fold lines here. I call them natural. But you know, you've got the fold lines. They, you know, they don't disappear. But at the same time, if you bought a brand new roof, those fold lines appear within probably a week or two. Anyway, so we're going to do the roof. We're going to do the roof rubbers. I can already see this one here feels a bit crusty. And then the drains. We do the drain flush, which comes here and in here, and also at the back. And then we've got the special wax that we're putting on it at the same time. We've got a special offer running. So we'll show you what it looks like a little bit further down the line, and then what it looks like when it's all done. So that's what it looks like now. And then we'll show you what it looks like later, which for you guys watching is in a second now. For me, it's the end of the day. Just a quick note here on the Mercedes, just pulled it in on the wash area, and just as I got out I noticed that it's got a few of these chemical marks on it. Unfortunately on the metal on these, the trim, and you can see it in the light right across here, but the trim's affected by these car washes that use the strong chemicals. And I'm afraid, I'm just noting this really because you know, we're about to clean it. I don't want anybody to think that we've made these marks. I'm sure they don't, but you know, you have to cover these things off because otherwise, you know, you can come back to the car, or the roof looks gorgeous and all of that, and then go, oh, these things, because you didn't notice it before, because otherwise the roof didn't look gorgeous, so you're looking at the roof. So yeah, they can be sometimes polished a bit, but often, you know, they won't come up to 100%. So, you know, it's pretty annoying that these people do it. You've got them all the way down here as well. You see them in there. It's literally anything chrome. And what you also most people don't realise, of course, is that the paintwork gets the bleaching as well, and it's not as noticeable on the paint. So this strong chemical that makes these oxidise like that is doing the same thing to the paintwork. So they're not, you know, you're not realising that any kind of wax or anything doesn't stay on. You know, the ceramic coatings do, the good quality ones do, and the graphene coatings do, that are resilient. And when we coat them, we coat these. But you know, obviously this one hasn't had a ceramic coating or a graphene coating, so obviously the damage is done. Right, so just a quick preview, shall I say, on the Mercedes. I've washed the paintwork, but I haven't touched it yet. And same with the roof. We put a cleaning product on both. The roof's looking quite nice now, but it's still got dirt in it. I've got to brush it. But I'm just noting a couple of weak areas on the roof because I'm going to brush it now, and I don't, you know, I want to show that basically there are some weak areas before I brush it. I don't want the, you know, the perception. So, you know, perception of maybe something's done something from the brushing. Brushing can make a, you know, an old roof, a bit like a washing machine. When you put clothes in, it can create a little bit of wear, but nothing serious, you know, nothing that you'd notice. And the big improvement is always much more than the loss, if there is any. It's a bit like having a dirty black t-shirt and it's fairly new. You've got to wash it over the course of a few washes. It starts to look slightly older. So you got a little funny line here, and we noted before there was a sort of like a scratch line, but that can't be seen while it's wet. But you can see these fold lines and a few imperfections in it, a few little weaknesses here. But again, I'm not concerned too much about it really. There's a little bit here I was pointing at a minute ago that takes a little bit of looking to find it really, but you know, oh, there it is. I see a little bit more. So that's where a fold line, that's the sort of place where eventually, if we hadn't got the grit out of this, you know, that's where it will wear, because as the folding, that's a weak spot, you know, and often, most of the time actually, when the roofs eventually do need replacing, they have, you know, that's where they go, because it had grit in it for years, and each time it's folding, the grit is wearing it. You normally find that the centre of the roof is often already good, although most people don't clean the centre of it very well, and I'm going to do all that now. But you know, most people are cleaning to here. What they might see, if somebody's exceptionally tall, they might not do the middle bit, but of course, knowing what we know, you do have to do the middle bit. So the car's all been cleaned off now, and I've put our special wax on it, and it's already looking beading up and lovely. The chrome part, or this trim work, it's like a chrome, but it's like a metal, or you know, coated aluminium, I think. I've given it a little bit of a polish with a special metal polish product that we use while it's on this wash bay, because you can wash off the excess, and you're right next to next to that, and you don't want to be right next to the fabric cleaning with a product like that. It makes a mess. So I've washed it all. So that I've done. The bodywork's washed off. There is a little bit of a scratch on the back here. It's very, very, very fine. But you know, that can happen. Well, it can happen. You can find them when, you know, when obviously the car's clean. But there's my soft cloth that I've washed it with, and this was cleaned perfectly before it started. So there's, you know, that's not going to cause a problem like that. But I can probably buff that scratch if the customer wants it. But let's wash it all down first and dry it. You might not even notice it. Sometimes these things are more apparent when the car's wet, and sometimes it's when the car's dry that you know, they're more apparent. But yeah, there might be a few other little marks on it, but otherwise this car is in very good condition. Really do like this car actually. I'd fancy one of these myself. Right, so I've dried it all now, and you can't see that scratch. Oh yes, you can. It's a lot less obvious. Right, so, and also the roof's now clean, but it's not perfectly dry, but I've airlined it. Still got the chemical marks around here, which look a bit annoying when it's clean. They can look more obvious because everything else is now clean. But yeah, the little tiny wear mark I was concerned about there, that's a lot less noticeable. And then the scratch that's across there, you can hardly see that. So when I put the proof on there, you won't even notice. And that's been caught in time. If that had been left, I think with the grit and dirt in it over time, that would have been the place it had gone. But now there's no grit in it, so gonna have the reproof put on it, and that should all work nicely. That you know, that will last the length for the life of the car, as long as he looks after the car, and you know, probably has the roof done every couple of years. Bodywork on it is really good. Somebody's done some spray work on it. Whoever did it did a very good job. So otherwise, yeah, getting there now. Nothing up much around it really, just a little tiny scratchy bit there, which the gentleman noticed himself at the start. But you know, now it's clean, I can see that the wax that we put on it makes it look even nicer. So I'm looking forward to getting the coating on and seeing what this roof looks like when it's done, because it will all be nice and fluffy. Right, here it is all done, but I just couldn't resist filming it with the roof down. You don't see the roof, but no, we will put it up. But you know, it just looks great. It's such a good looking car. And so I just thought I'd do a bit of footage with it like this. Just, it's almost like, wow. Right, yeah, so he's had the hood clean reproofed, and we've done the rubbers and the drains and the drain flash on it. And you know, wonder what that's all about. But the rubbers are what connect to all the roof and everything. So all down here and all across there, and you know, all these rubbers butt up against each other, and if you don't look after them, then they'll perish, and also they'll let water through, and then you get water in the car, and that's why people think Cabriolet hoods leak. I think they think that it's the roof, but it's it's invariably it's the rubbers, or often the drains block up, and you know you don't even know it, but there's 3 drains here, 1, 2, 3, and they all have to be clear. Otherwise the water can run down inside the A-pillar and down inside. You don't even know it's filling up with water until you finally get wet feet, and then you think, what's that water doing down there? I don't remember spilling that. And then you know at that point you've probably got 5 litres of water, or maybe 20 litres underneath the carpet. So it's worth doing the rubbers and the drains really, unless the car is fairly new. These are just some of the rubbers. The rubbers are all in the, you know, where it all joins and everything. There's quite a lot of rubbers around the car, but there you go. Look at that for a fantastic looking roof. All right, there's a bit of fluff landed on it, but there you go. Otherwise it feels, you can't tell what it feels like, but I can tell you it feels like a brand new roof, and nice and fluffy as well. It's not stiff or anything, you know, it's nice and soft. And yeah, you have got that tiny line there where possibly happened somewhere, and this little holy bit here is okay. I'm happy with that. When I say holy bit, if you'd have left that, that would have been a hole to, you know, 5 more years using it, and then you've had a hole there, and you've had to have a new roof, because you can't really repair them really. You can do a temporary repair, might last a year on a little hole, but you know, why do that? Why not have the roof lovely while the car is lovely? In other words, keep the roof nice and have the roof last as long as the car life. That's the plan, but you do have to clean it and give it a little bit of love every now and again. Otherwise, you know, it will bite you back. You're probably looking at £2 for a new roof for this. So this gets to 80,000 miles in, say, 5 to 10 years time, and the roof's gone. You've still got a car that's worth maybe £10,000, £8,000, which is good engine, good car, and you need to put a roof on it, and that's why there's roof places that put new roofs on them. But if you look after the roof, you can probably make the roof last as long as the life of the car. So this man's going to print this off. We'll print him off the guarantee, the invoice, and he'll keep that with all the service history, so that at some stage when he parts company with it, he can tell somebody that he has looked after the roof. So that's the plan. The offer's giving him the super wax coating, and he's just looking at it now, and I'm sure he's in love with it. Well, he's just been talking about how much he loves the car. So, you know, get the roof down and enjoy it. Why not? And look how lovely it is. So there's the roof before, and there it is after. And it's you again. Amazing.